What's up, SOBs? Hello and welcome to the Stream of Blood. I am coming to you live from my new garage studio where I have all my nerdy shit hanging up on the walls and my Frankenstein poster behind me. And I am just thrilled to be out of the house where occasionally I'd be describing a very dramatic scene. I'd be like, and then his blood starts to pour out of the wound in his neck, and you realize that your friend is gone. And then my 2-year-old daughter would go, "Hey, what if to give me the milk?" And then that would kind of interrupt it, and it would ruin the very serious and solemn game mastering that we do here on the Stream of Blood. Guys, I feel great to be in my garage for the first time for this show, because this is THAC0 Tuesdays. THAC0 Tuesdays, where we play old school essentials from Necrotic Gnome Press. This is what is called a retro clone. We are playing Dungeons and Dragons using the rules from 1981. That is the basic expert set of D&D. I said DVD. I'm showing my age. Back in my day, we watched DVDs, not these Blu-rays you kids have now. This is the brainchild of Gavin Norman, Necrotic Gnome Press. The people that distribute it in the U.S. are called Exalted Funeral. They make tons of extremely cool shit. A lot of it for OSR, Dungeons and Dragons. Go and buy it. Check it out. They're not paying me to say this. I just think that they make cool stuff that you should buy and games that you should play. So we have a really exciting lineup for you tonight here on THAC0 Tuesdays, where we are currently slowly dungeon crawling our way through the classic dungeon module B2, The Keep on the Borderlands, written by none other than the co-creator of Dungeons and Dragons himself, Gary Gygax. This is an original copy. It's mint, and I should have left it in the package. So we're slowly crawling our way through it, and we have a great group to go through it with us tonight. Unfortunately, Paula Deming got her second vaccine shot, so she can't be here tonight. So we replaced one woman with 2 men. But first, I will bring in the wind beneath my wings, the captain to my Tennille, the Kato to my Green Hornet. And notice I didn't say Robin to Batman, because I think Kato is arguably more talented and the cooler character. Please welcome to the stream the producer of films, podcasts, and television, playing the dwarf Boople von Borplesby, Mr. Clinton Trucks.
It's me, Clint.
Hey, buddy.
I agree Kato is much cooler. Although,
Kato's got Kung Fu.
If I want to be Captain or Tennille, I might lean Tennille. That's just me.
Captain plays that keyboard, though.
Captain plays, yeah, but I want to be up front. I want that mic, baby.
You want to wear a pretty dress?
Sure. I want that sweet 1970s sort of flip do. I want the whole thing.
All right. Fine. You're Tennille now.
That's all it took.
There. It's very easy. Let's bring in our next guest. He's playing a fighter, Sir Clip-Clop von Roachford, a man with pretensions to grandeur, even though he is not but a low scum-sucking mercenary. This man is a very talented artist whose work you've seen all over the Stream of Blood and on the Slanted Hallway podcast. He has so many projects. You may have seen him on a comedy poster or two, a comedy show poster or two back in the before times when people still went to those things. Please welcome our good pal, Will Pottorff, everybody.
Heyo, how's it going?
Hi. Good, buddy. I like your face is like underlit in the best way, where you were like, welcome. You look like kind of terrifying for a minute.
Yeah, Jared, honestly, like, I'm always trying to go for that ghoul appeal. You know, that sort of ghoul appeal that some people have, others don't. I might have it.
Right. You like to be kind of clammy.
Yeah, I'm generally the pale, indoor, but at the same time, lucid. If that makes any sense.
Yeah, you're like, I have to go inside and draw my creatures.
Yeah, that kind of persona, essentially. I try to bring that energy in.
What is your Dungeons and Dragons experience, and what is specifically your? I mean, not with this specific game, but like do you have any old school D&D experience?
The oldest school I've ever played technically would be like 3E or maybe 4E. That was like way back in the day.
Well, that's way back in the day now. That's like 2000, so 21 years ago.
Yeah, I was like 10 or something, and it just was. It was one of those deals of being invited into like your older friend's brother's room. Nothing weird except we played Dungeons and Dragons, and it was just kind of like, these rules I don't entirely understand. So.
I think that's how everybody starts, is by not kind of understanding the rules and just sort of playing despite that and getting it all wrong and having fun anyway. And speaking of people who are going to get it all wrong and have fun anyway, we have two guests for you who have never ever played, I think, a tabletop role-playing game, period, between them. But they are two hilarious friends of mine who I'm really excited to give them the grand tour, show them around our world. And, Paula couldn't make it, which, anytime, geeks throw a party in their garage where they play Dungeons and Dragons, you say, look, I swear there was going to be a girl here. She couldn't make it. But don't worry, I have a full house of husky boys and scrawny geeks. And that's who I'm bringing in right now. My two best pals in comedy. They are the hosts of the Get Rich Nick podcast, which you can hear me as a guest discussing a little bit of how our stream works as a business, ? Exclamation point, ampersand, £. And let's bring them in now. Nick Turner and Nick Vatterott.
Hi.
Hey guys.
Thank you for having me on your audio only podcast.
Oh, yes, it is audio only.
Okay.
So feel free to pick your nose. Yeah. Feel free to pick your nose, scratch your ass, do whatever. No one can see this.
Jared, I'm very excited to do this. I've always wanted to play. And I'll be honest with you, about a year and a half, I wanted to play so bad. About a year and a half ago, I released a deadly virus into the world. So that a year and a half later, somebody would have to take the vaccine and have to take a day off, and then I could take their spot. So this has been a long time coming.
Well, a lot of people have met a tragic end or were horribly compromised health-wise, but ultimately worth it, I think, Nick. Ultimately worth it.
As long as I get to play.
That's right. Let's get started then. Is everybody ready to enter the world of THAC0 Tuesdays?
That's more than ready, Jared.
Yeah.
Then here we go. I'm taking us off to the far seas, to the Isle of the Sword. Clint, that's your cue for a real pretty map that Will Pottorf drew us. The Isle.
Everything's going wrong, Jared.
No, it's okay. Take your time. I'll just keep making this vamping motion.
I'm loving it.
Okay. The Isle of the Sword. Yes, there it is. The Isle of the Sword in the far seas, just west of the Isle of the Gods. The Isle of the Sword, it's roughly shaped like a sword. And there in the tip, you will find the fort on the far seas, where all of you have come to make your fortune, to make your way in life as an adventurer here on the outskirts of civilization, way out in the ocean, where there are untamed lands, ancient ruins filled with gold, perhaps powerful magics or hidden secrets that you can use to build your legend. And so all four of you are visitors to this place, the Fort on the Far Seas. And let's briefly introduce our two new characters. We have a halfling that has recently entered the Fort on the Far Seas, Darklar of Darklar. Tell me a little bit about Darklar of Darklar. He's a halfling, which means he's a sort of a hobbit type creature.
Yes, I am sort of. I had a past where I was really out for blood, just any sort of blood. I wasn't particular about blood, but I just loved blood.
Yeah.
Classic Darklar.
Yeah, typical Darklar of Darklar. So it's double blood.
Yeah.
And I'm sort of changing my ways. My father, he was killed by a mail carrier. And what had happened is that he thought the mail carrier was some sort of trespasser, and so he went to sneak around and to attack him. And then the mail carrier thought that my father was a deadly bunny, so he turned around and smited him and struck him down. So I think it
can happen in a pseudo medieval world. Everybody's carrying a blade.
Yeah, it's just I'm not as much out for blood anymore. I want to start giving people the benefit of the doubt. They might be a mail carrier. I don't want to just assume you're evil. And I'm tired of halflings. We're always sneaking around. Oh, we're small. We got to creep around. Oh, we stay in the shadows so people can't see us. I'm tired of living in the shadows. It's time that the halflings start walking down the center of the path.
And so Sir Boople von Borplesby and Sir Clip-Clop von Roachford hear this halfling making a speech, who has introduced himself as Darklar von Darklar. He's on a little bit of an apple crate in the center of the courtyard here in the fort on the far seas, and he's yelling about how it's time for halflings to show themselves, quit sneaking around. And in the audience is another character, an elf. And tell us about Dr. Jar Jar the Magnificent.
Hi, my name's actually just Jar, but I guess I'm not technically a doctor, but I like to name myself what I want to be. And a girl I like went to the doctor the other day, and so naturally, she's never come to my house. Anyway, I want to be a doctor. People do this. It's like Martin Luther King Jr., He wasn't actually a junior. His dad's name was Dave, but he wanted to be a junior. He named himself that, and he eventually became a doctor. And I can be a doctor if Bill Cosby can be a doctor. That's all I got to say.
And so you also notice that near the proselytizing halfling, there is someone who has set up a small shop of cures and sedatives and elixirs that only a doctor could properly mix. But the fact that he's working out of what looks like the Charlie Brown lemonade stand sort of setup makes you think that perhaps he is not the most trustworthy medical professional that you would even find here on the Isle of the Sword. And just to kind of describe the fort to you, gentlemen, especially those of you who haven't visited our game before, the fort on the far seas, the place you're in right now is the square, and off of the square there is the tavern with no name, where you can go and have some small beer. Oh, here's the fort, and glorious grid illustration by TSR circa 1980X. And so there in the far left corner, where it kind of curves, thank you, sir, at 13 there, that's the square and the fountain where you're all out there with all of the marketeers. And 15 there is where the tavern is located, where everybody wets their whistle with some small beer. 14 right over there is the Traveler's Rest Inn, where for some coin you can find a place to stay for the night. And just to the north, let's just kind of hit the big. There's all kinds of warehouses and a bank and places where different high-ranking nobles work. But this is the keep, and the Castellan of the keep would never let rabble like you into the keep. The only way the characters have gotten into the keep so far is by getting arrested. So until you prove yourselves as worthy heroes, you won't be able to talk with the leadership of the fort here, which dwell in the keep. But right outside the keep's walls, there is a temple at 17 there, the Temple of Enkidu. It is a temple to the demigod Enkidu, the panther human of Babylonian lore. And so that's basically the rundown. If you're ever like, wait, is there a shop that does this? Or is there a place where I can get that? Just ask me, your referee, if there is. And perhaps the characters now interact in some way. Perhaps Boople von Borplesby or Sir Clip-Clop approaches some of these new adventurers here in the square and asks them to go adventuring with them because they know of many locations outside of the city where monsters may be slain and coin may be earned.
Well, as it happens, Boople von Borplesby is probably the most powerful person in this entire keep, having reached 3rd level.
Amazing.
I have not yet.
It's pretty cool.
I have not yet rolled for my 3rd level hit points. I thought I would do it on the stream.
That's a good idea. And when you do that, we can also examine what our new characters' hit points are so they kind of know how hit points work. So Clinton Trucks, Boople von Borplesby currently has how many hit points? Before
9
rolling?
hit points.
9
hit points.
Respectable.
Boople has a constitution of 16, so I get +2 to any roll.
Oh,
But
great.
when I last leveled up, I rolled a 1. So hoping to not do that.
Disappointing. Well, here we go. He's going to, because he leveled up last game, he's going to go ahead and roll to see how many more hit points he gets. Boople.
Giving it a roll. And, well, fuck me, Jared. I rolled a 1.
You rolled a 1 again.
So, yeah.
All the way up to 10. The game
No,
giveth and the game taketh away.
I had 9 previously, and I get a +2 for my constitution bonus. So I go up to 12, sir.
Oh, that's right. Okay, no problem. Sorry, didn't mean to speak out of turn. You go up to 12. Okay, so now let's look at our two friends here. Let's see. Jar Jar, Dr. Jar Jar. Do you see how many hit points you have on your sheet, sir?
Yes, of course I do, because as an elf, I have very keen eyes.
Okay.
I have.
Mhm,
Yes.
Go ahead. Yes, go ahead.
My hit dice.
Hit points, my friend. So you'll see combat values right on the left side of your sheet in the kind of the middle combat values. And the first number you'll see in a trapezoid. 6 hit points. So pretty hardy for a first level character. You could maybe take 2 hits from a monster. If the monster does really well, you can take 1 hit and die. So be careful if you encounter any monsters. And my friend Darklar of Darklar, I'm looking at your hit points right now. Only 3 for our adventurous halfling. So,
but it is a strong 3.
It is it's a hardy 3. And so now that we've handled hit points, so I explained to you before the stream, you can attack monsters, but they can attack you. So you want to use strategy and you want to use your creativity to avoid or get some sort of advantage over the monsters before you get into a fight with them, or avoid fights with them altogether if you possibly can. And if in doubt, take a cue from the more experienced warriors, Boople and Sir Clip-Clop. And so now I leave you for a undoubtedly somewhat awkward but ultimately charming scene in the square between all 4 characters.
Well, Boople is not just hale and hearty by any measure. He's also fabulously wealthy after having survived so many adventures. And he is choosing to take advantage of the retainer mechanic of this game, and he is actively hiring adventurers to go with him to kill the Minotaur back at the Caves of Chaos. And I'm looking for
Holy
people to join
shit,
me.
you're looking for people to kill the Minotaur?
He killed a lot of players, and we want to go in.
He killed
and,
like 4 players last time you encountered the Minotaur. Okay, so
I do need
today.
money, but instead of going on the quest, would you be open to buy? Have some potions for sale that cures what ail you. If you're going on a long trek, you're probably going to need some medicine. I have that.
What do you got here?
Yeah, potions sound reasonable.
Yeah, for sure. This one grows mustaches, but you guys don't need that.
Yes.
We're going to put that one aside.
I've had one since I was 3.
I've heard tale of baby mustache.
Mm-hmm.
I get high on my own supply.
I do have this this ointment you pour into a sword wound to seal it up. Would that be of any interest to anyone?
Oh, maybe. Is it FDA approved or?
It's pending.
Not
picture of a
to
horse on
interrupt
the label.
beautiful
It's just-
scene that you are building perfectly, but I think it's time for a roll. Nick Turner, just to get you used to the rolling mechanic, we are going to try to roll a d20 and get under your charisma so you can see how well your sales pitch is going. Dr. Jar Jar, roll a d20 and see if it rolls under your charisma.
Okay. 10.
10. And what is your charisma score?
My charisma score is an 8.
So you rolled over your charisma score.
Yes.
You are
Business
for someone
is
who
not
has
good.
someone who has chosen to go into sales. You are not suited for it at all. And so,
I tell
you
people I'm
guys,
not
I will
there.
say, Sir Clip-Clop and Boople von Borplesby, you can tell immediately that this man has this elf has no idea what he is talking about.
These labels come right off the bottles.
And they're filled with water, muddy
Yeah.
water.
Oh, yeah, that too.
You got me. Don't tell anybody else. Look, I'm a short man, 120 pounds at most. I got nothing else. There's no way I'm good at battle, but I feel like I have no other choice now.
Well, you're armed and armored, and I know that elves are talented with magic. I'd be happy to adventure with you.
If you'll have me, thank you.
Meanwhile, let's see how the crowd is reacting to the stump speech of our halfling friend.
Now,
And I'll do that by doing a reaction roll from the crowd. I take 2d6 and I see, what is your charisma modifier, Darklar? Looks to be 0 plus 0. So it's an unmodified roll. I'm going to roll and see if the crowd is turning against you or if they are really enjoying your speech. The dice will decide. Okay, here we go. All right. So that's a 5. Unfriendly may attack.
May attack.
Yeah, unfriendly may attack is the reaction roll that I got by rolling 2d6s and getting a 5 total. And so you are giving your speech, Darklar, and people are like, "Shut up! Halflings are supposed to be sneaky. It's their entire. It's their genetics. I don't know.
Oh,
maybe
no.
these people are racist. To be frank,
Yeah,
maybe these
seems
people
like.
are. It sounds like they are, but like they really don't like what you're saying, and it's getting kind of tense. People are starting to pick up rocks, and they're starting to pull at their like blades because everybody that's in the Fort of the Far Seas is an adventurer. They're out here to make their fortune, and they all carry blades and weapons. So, what are you going to do? Anybody?
I'm going to shift my conversation to all these people because I'm up here talking about myself, and I should talk to them about something that they might be interested in. And the thing I think that I might be able to win the crowd over with is I want to talk to them about Crypt Currency. This is currency that you find when you open crypts, and that's sort of what I'm actually looking for right now. I mean, if there's a venture abound afoot, I might take part. While I'm not into bloodlust as much as I used to be, if there's a crypt and there's currency in that for me to take, then I'm all in.
Well, that sounds like a cue for our other adventurers to help this man. And if they don't, I'm making another reaction roll soon.
Now, Boople will say, "Loot the dead, you say? Why, that's how I bought these fine vestments." Because Boople bought new clothes.
I also defile the dead with a sword. That's my thing.
I've seen it.
I wouldn't loot the dead because I still feel guilty about killing them.
May we loot your dead? I take that as a yes.
I think he drank one of the potions.
Oh my goodness. That's the freezing potion.
Yes. He has some mechanical problems with his brain chemistry, probably from drinking all those potions. So, very well. It sounds like they're making you an offer, Darklar. You can, of course, refuse it. This stream is open-ended and not a railroad, but they're asking if you'd like to come along and find some Crypt Currency with them.
Hoo-ha! I am on board.
Very
I will wave
good.
everybody into the tavern with no name, which has recently been taken over by the unnamed boy who used to just wipe down tables.
And as you guys leave, as our friend leaves the apple crate, as Darklar leaves the apple crate, the crowd goes, "Okay, whose turn is it to make a crazy tirade now?" And then another guy gets up and is like, "Vultures as big as a galley!" And you guys move into the tavern with no name. Meanwhile, Dr. Jar Jar stands frozen in the square, and maybe Darklar or someone else says he'll follow you when he feels better. And so you come into the tavern, and why did you bring him into the tavern, Von Boople? Boople von Booplesby, what are you going to show him?
Oh, well, one, to show off my fabulous wealth by getting a round of drinks for all my new companions.
People swing their music makers. The second
Their vuvuzelas.
Their vuvuzelas, because the second Boople enters, they know a round is on him.
I'll have your finest no-name drink.
The tavern, because of the death of Bodo the tavern keep, and our last adventure is now run by Bodo's assistant, a young boy. And so there's just this little kid who's like putting small beer up on the counter and then like sweeping behind the bar. He looks to be 7 or 8. He's got Bodo's big tavern keep apron on him. It's way too big.
The leather apron we brought back, still covered in Bodo's blood.
Yeah, but it's also got like pieces of like lime from cocktails he's mixed and stuff like that on it too. Some grenadine.
Tequila sunrises all around, I see.
Yes, yes. The kids expanded the menu.
I'll take them back to my usual table and show them the map carved into it and say, "We're headed here," and I'll take a dagger and stab it into where the Caves of Chaos are.
And let's see that map, if we may, Mr. Clinton Trucks. Yes.
Of the region or of the Caves of Chaos?
Of the Caves of Chaos.
Ooh.
Yes.
One of our finer maps. How's this look, Jared? Is that the one?
Fine. So here you can see the Valley of the Caves of Chaos, which over the course of this campaign, every time we have different guests and they enter the different caves, they find out what is in each of the caves. And we can briefly do a recap of our previous adventures. You see at the top, toward the right, or you might say eastern side, Traven Gorm's Mama. That's what Nate Fernald named that cave after meeting a character named Traven Gorm he didn't like and exploring it. Nate Fernald's character Doink decided to name it Traven Gorm's Mama. And that is where you encountered some orcs, almost all of whom you slew to a man. In the cave directly west of that, you found another cave full of orcs. Many of those survived. You kind of went in. You had many encounters in there. You stole some. You entered through a secret door. You stole some gold, and then you got out. You know that behind the tree, directly below that, is a hidden kobold cave filled with kobolds, which are a sort of like lizard person, a tiny lizard type creature, but you haven't explored it yet. The goblin cave to the south, southeast there. That has been explored, but none of the goblins were slain. You managed to steal all their gold using diplomacy and by awing them by riding on the backs of tigers and wolves. The ogre in the hidden ogre cave there, you see that labeled, is dead. It was slain on one of your previous adventures. And in fact, it was slain when it came and attacked you while you were exploring or looking into the Minotaur cave. which is that where you're intending to go today, Clinton Trucks?
I think so. I think it's time.
Sorry, Boople von Borplesby. Okay, so you'll see that there are other unlabeled caves there because they have not been explored yet, and there may be some other hidden caves there at the Caves of Chaos that haven't been found yet. But this dwarf is looking at you, Dr. Jar Jar, and Sir Clip-Clop, and saying it's time to take on the Minotaur, one of the most dangerous and horrific beings that lives and dwells in the Caves of Chaos. What is your response, everybody?
How ferocious is this Minotaur? Just wondering.
Well, in my time in the keep, I've met less than a dozen people. The Minotaur has killed nearly half of those.
So 50-50 odds of surviving this adventure.
60-40. 60-40.
Are there any problems? Do you have any problems with monsters that are smaller?
I believe monsters can be any size. I judge people by their heart, not their stature.
Sure. I just wonder if there might be an easier monster to wet my whistle with.
Is there a mini Minotaur?
Yes.
The Kobold Cave may be more your speed, but I like one big enemy as opposed to hordes of small ones generally.
Just had to ask.
Listen, this is a democracy. I'm willing to be talked out of what will certainly be a suicide run for most of you.
Do we have to fight it? Do we assess the situation once we get there, or do we go in with a plan?
No plan has ever survived contact with the Minotaur, but if you happen to have one, I'd hear it.
I am all down for the Minotaur, as long as we get that retainer of men, and I bring up the rear guard. Send the men in the front, the vanguard. They'll be the vanguard, but I'll lead the rear guard just in case there's an attack from behind.
Lead from the rear.
Exactly.
It sounds like you're suggesting that they hire some mercenaries.
I was
Makes
thinking we
sense.
might. Yeah.
Very good. Shall we see if there are any available?
Let's do it.
I would like a charisma roll from someone who thinks that they could get the most guys to follow them to the Caves of Chaos.
I mean, I think it's me.
Yeah, I just kind of bombed out in the square.
You can hear, it's a tough crowd out there. You can hear them booing the guy that was warning everybody that giant vultures were coming.
It's a tough crowd.
While they're getting attacked by vultures.
Boople will just let it be known that we're hiring, and anyone interested should swing by the table.
And so he should, in fact, give me a charisma roll because I'm going to give him bonuses if he does well, and I'm going to decide some things if he does very poorly.
Boople's charisma is much better than a number of his other stats. Let's do it. I rolled a 9, but I have a +1 charisma, so 10.
A 10. Okay, so a 10. Okay. There are 2 people available here at the Unnamed Tavern. Adventurers who are looking to sign up with a company and go and earn some coins. So it'll cost you 1 gold a piece to keep them for, they're going to go for 3 days for 1 gold coin a piece.
I would like to negotiate with each of them. I will give them 10 gold apiece, but they do not get a cut of whatever we find in the caves.
They agree to this. One of them's like basically just trying to level up right now, just trying to kind of grind levels, kind of get to like level 3 or level 4 before like I really am going for my own treasure. My name's Trav. One of them's named Trav. He has a crossbow and chainmail and a helm and, very little else. Maybe a couple odds and ends in his pack, like a little length of rope. Trav, and the other one's name is Hedwig. And Hedwig...
How's Hedwig armed?
With an angry inch.
Hedwig, he has 2 angry inches. He's got 2 little sharp daggers. and he's got his armor looks a little bit more impressive, and he's wearing like a nice purple cloak, and he's like, haha, killing's my business. And so if you give me the coin you've promised, I can tell you that I'll slit a couple throats. Hedwig's the name, killing's the game.
There's just one thing you need to know about me. I don't want to hear anybody's dark backstory.
I literally don't even have one. I think you'll agree. I think you'll agree the opening thing I said to you was not very good. There's nothing deeper than that.
Yes,
Cool.
I want razor thin characterization. I want numbers and nothing else.
I can tell you this. I'm a good sneak. I'm a good scout.
I love it.
Yeah. Really looking for adventuring.
Slit their throats for you. And Trav's
Really?
like, oh, go ahead. Go ahead, Sir Clip-Clop.
Oh, I'm just saying, I'm really looking for adventuring with like no strings attached, you know? Honestly.
No, I hear you. Totally. Like, that's what I'm into. Like, I just want to see what's out there. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
All right. You've hired 2 mercenaries at, would you say 10 gold apiece, but they don't get a cut of your treasure? All right. 20 gold goes off of your sheet. And are we traveling to the Caves of Chaos?
I think we ought.
And as you're traveling, I want you to continue to discuss whether you're actually going to go after the Minotaur or if you are going to maybe take something, as Dr. Jar Jar has suggested, maybe something a little less ambitious, you know, like the kobolds or something.
If we want to warm up in one of the earlier caves, I would hear that argument.
Well, as you travel, I'm going to roll to see if there's an encounter, because it's a day's travel to the Caves of Chaos. We can assume that you sleep well, maybe in the Traveler's Rest Inn, or maybe in one of the stables here in the fort on the far seas, and then you head out the next day. Oh, dash it all! I need a D12. What have I done with my dice?
I will say I am a little bummed that that Clip-Clop doesn't want us to bond, because I kind of love the whole thick as thieves thing. That was sort of the whole draw to me. But you're saying no building of relationships here.
I've been burnt and hurt too many times on adventures before, you know? You go all the way into the cave and then they just, you know, they don't want to commit. I just
want to say real quick that you guys are the first 3 friends I've ever had, the best 3 friends I've ever had. And I already feel closer to you than literally anyone I've ever met. And it would really be painful to lose you.
Clip-Clop, is it this type of stuff you don't want? I get it now.
Hedwig turns to you and goes, "Don't get too close to me, chum. I have a sharp edge. I might cut your skin. Approach with caution."
Come on really hard, Hedwig. All right.
And then Trav says, he talks like that. Okay. Luckily, you guys rolled no encounter. And so can we see the map of the whole countryside, though, just so our friends know where you're traveling through? So you travel down the dirt road, down the hill from the keep there. You see that. And then the road to the west leads to the ocean, but the road to the east leads to the Valley of the Caves of Chaos. And so traveling for a day, you travel the great forest to your north. Amidst that forest, the Cave of the Unknown, now known as the Cave of the Angus tribe, which you explored last time. But that is not your quarry tonight. Nor are the swamps to the south beyond the great river. No, you are not for these places. You are headed to the Caves of Chaos, where monsters dwell and treasure abounds, and soon you find yourself in the poorly drawn valley we saw earlier. And let us bring up that map again, if you don't mind, sir, and let us carefully decide. Oh, I forgot. Every time you come to the Caves of Chaos, I'm required to read a long.
Every time with this.
I have to read a long intro. The forest you have been passing through has been getting more dense, tangled, and gloomier than before. The thick, twisted tree trunks, unnaturally misshapen limbs, writhing roots clutching and grasping thorns and briars all seem to warn and ward you off. They warn and ward you off, Gary Gygax. Learn to be less redundant. But you have forced and hacked your way through regardless. Now the strange growth has suddenly ended. You have stepped out of the thicket into a ravine-like area. The walls rise rather steeply on either side to a height of about 100 feet or so. Dark, streaked rock mingled with earth. Clumps of trees grow here and there, both on the floor of the ravine and up on the sloping walls of the canyon. The opening you stand in, this is where he just gets into footage. The opening you stand in is about 200 feet wide. The ravine runs at least 400 feet west, actually 440 feet, to where the western... Okay, we can stop there. So you have arrived in this area, and just to describe it in a way that a modern game master would, it does seem quiet here. There are less birds caw-cawing. There are foreboding openings, clefts in the rock with shadows and darkness beyond. Everything seems still and quiet and gray. The sun can't quite break through how high the mountains are kind of blocking it here in this ravine where these caves dwell. And so, where will be your destination?
Well, guys, I had great success in Travengorn's Mama, but I believe it has been plumbed to its deepest depths. If we think that the Minotaur is too tough a quarry for today...
Oh, I don't... I mean, you're saying that. I would do anything.
Oh, I slap you on the back. Fantastic. A tip of the spear.
All right, let's touch spears. Or sword, or whatever.
Wait, I missed that because I was reading my rule manual. Where are you all headed?
We haven't decided. I'm waiting for Darklar of Darklar to chew on this and decide.
I have the feeling that the riches are behind the Minotaur. But I'm curious, though. I mean, do we have to go into battle? Is there an alternative way to sort of outwit the Minotaur? Can we dress up like a lady Minotaur? And perhaps...
It's interesting you ask this, because I didn't want to suggest it for fear of seeming racist.
Oh.
But we have a halfling, and they're quite sneaky. Perhaps you could sneak in around to the Minotaur and do a little scouting. Let us know what's up. Have I offended you?
Well, I'm trying not to sneak around as much, but since it's not for an attack and it's only a scouting mission, I can do it.
Fantastic.
All right, it sounds like the lair of the Minotaur has been chosen, and let the massacre begin. Approaching, let's bring up the map one more time so we know exactly where we're going. Approaching the far wall of the valley, the far end of the valley. You walk for, it takes about 10 minutes to kind of pad over there, and then you kind of have to climb that lower slope where it first gets green there. And as you're climbing that slope, where is everybody standing? In other words, what is your marching order? So I know that Darklar is going ahead as sort of a scout.
I think Hedwig should also be scouting ahead as well.
Hedwig will scout. Hedwig will go with Darklar. He looks at Darklar and he goes, "Partners, but don't trust me. I've left too many dead bodies behind."
Why does he keep licking the knife?
I don't know, but he's growing on me.
He never puts those knives down. Have you ever tried to see him pick up a glass?
Yeah. Oh,
It's
my
terrible.
God.
Combs his hair with one.
It's almost
very
time.
So those two are going to scout ahead, and then I just want to know what a general marching order is behind them, and where the rest of the party is standing.
I think everybody has a. Does everybody have a missile weapon of some sort, a bow, or
I
otherwise?
have a throwing axe, and that's, I guess, a hand axe. So that's about it, though.
That puts you in the front.
Okay.
I have a dagger and also a sword.
I have a short
All right.
bow, but that goes without saying.
It does. There's no other bow option, certainly. I would suggest those of us who can shoot from the rear should hang back so we can weaken whatever comes out. And those who don't have that opportunity, maybe they could be up front, soaking the damage, making sure that I make it out of here. Does this all seem fair?
Indeed. I have a mighty lob.
Great. Tactics.
So we have Sir Clip-Clop. So tell me what it is. Tell me where you're standing at the foot of the hill, right? Below the cave.
Right.
And who is standing there?
Well,
So Hedwig and Darklar should be scouting always one level ahead of everybody else.
Got it. I got that.
Clip-Clop and Jar Jar, is that okay? Are next in line, as they don't have any
Dr.
missile weapons.
Jar Jar.
Indeed.
Dr. Jar Jar, excuse me, Doctor.
Mm.
And Darklar and I in the third wave.
So Darklar's, you mean Trav and you, because Darklar's scouting
excuse
ahead,
me, yes.
right?
Trav. I'm sorry, Trav and I.
Trav
and I.
and
Because Trav has a
and
crossbow.
Boople. Yeah, Trav has a crossbow. He's like, I'm pretty good with this thing. Don't worry, man. Okay, so now let's look at our friend Darklar and see how good he is at sneakifying. He has a 90% hiding in woods and a 2 and 6 in dungeons. So I'll call this a hiding roll to kind of move. It's not move silently, but as you kind of get up to the cave, you're going to be kind of hiding. And then, of course, our friend Hedwig is a rogue. And so rogues have a move silently skill that that Hedwig will be using. And I'll bring up his move silently skill in my analog computer right here. It's a book. It's like a computer, but you can take it anywhere.
What?
And let's see here. Yes, the thief.
A computer you could take anywhere.
I know.
Like
It's impossible.
I gotta
What
text my
notions?
friend about that.
I mean, it's light, and you can fit it like literally in your pocket. You can't say that about regular computers. Okay. So let's see here. What's his move silently? Move silently at. What's his percentage for move silently to start at level 1? Where the goddamn hell is it? Oh, here it is. I found it, my friends. Move silently. He has a 20% chance. Okay. So he's gonna roll, and you're gonna roll a d6, my friend Darklar, and you're gonna tell me if you get a 5 or a 6.
I got a 4.
Okay, so both of you seem pretty noticeable as you come up the hill toward this cave, and outside of the cave, right outside the entrance, you notice right inside. So you're close enough, you can kind of look just inside the cave. You see the bones of some massive humanoid that look like they're on a pile of ash. They're all burnt and charred. Would you like to go into the cave?
Yes, I think that's what was asked of me, and I want to be a team player to get the Crypt Currency.
Very good. In that case, you can once again roll your d6, and we're going to see if your hide in dungeon skill works for you here.
I have a 2.
Hey, that's still not there. We want you to get a 5 or a 6 to move really silently. And so I'm going to tell you that you enter the cave. It does not appear to have like worked walls. There's not like any kind of carved stone. It's very unnatural. It's very natural. It's a very natural formation. And immediately upon entering, when you're almost standing on the skeleton of that big charred skeleton, you can see that there's a passage kind of cutting off to the right and a passage that kind of leads straight ahead. And Hedwig looks at you and goes, "Where should we go?
Well,
Whose throat do I have to cut a throat around here?"
I think part of the reason I'm not hiding very well is because my heart's not in it. I've been wanting to make myself more seen, so I'm not going to the right. I'm going straight ahead.
I heard your speech. You don't like to sneak, but I do. I'm the silent aid at night. No one knows when Hedwig might strike. And okay, very interesting. So as you are moving straight ahead, you notice that Hedwig, so you're not trying to sneak right now, right? You're trying to be out there and show yourself like a halfling should, as you said earlier.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, great. Hedwig, actually, you kind of lose track of him. He's kind of like moving from shadow to shadow. It's very dark in here, but halflings do have some dark vision, if I'm not mistaken.
They do not.
They do not. So do you have any kind of light source you're using? Because you've now moved far enough into the cave that things are completely dark.
They are completely dark. Nope. I'm just. I can smell the beast, and I'm going in the direction of the smell. And boy, this guy could use a bath or 7, but I'm going straight towards him to see what the deal is.
You can also
You're
wait
just
for
gonna
us to join you.
Yeah, you're also allowed to wait for people to join you or go back and tell them, like, hey, I went in, it's really dark, I don't see anything yet. It's up to you.
I want to come back with some piece of information that's insightful, and I have nothing so far.
Okay, very good. Well, then let's have you keep going ahead, and I will tell you that after you have moved forward for a little bit, and you've kind of lost track of Hedwig because he is kind of moving silently. You come to a place where it opens into kind of a clearing in the cave, where there are actually 3 passages. There's one going directly to the right, one going straight ahead, or one going over to the left.
Oh boy, I could get lost in this cave without everybody. So I think I have my information. I think I know that there's 3 places to go, and I think I need to go back and put together a plan with everybody.
Okay. Having traveled this far in, I am going to roll to see if there is an encounter. A wandering monsters dungeon, and you've taken 2 turns to do this. So here we go. Let's see. Nothing. Nothing greets you. You encounter nothing on your way out. You're able to see the light from outside because it's still daytime outside as you head back toward, and you bump into somebody who's like, "Watch it, Mac." Oh,
This
you.
Yeah,
What's up ahead?
I love this guy.
There's 3 passageways. We need to put together a plan.
All right. He exits the cave with you. I'm going to see if our friends outside had any kind of encounter while all of this was going on. There's always a chance that there will be an encounter in the wilderness. Let's see. No encounter. Good for you guys. Okay, so you've been waiting there. About 20 minutes have passed, and soon your friends Darklar and Hedwig come down the slope again, and Darklar can share with you what he has found inside. It's very dark. You will need lighting if you go back in, if you wish to not be hindered in finding treasure or fighting creatures. But he was able to kind of feel around and find that area with 3 passages.
Boople, do you remember which passage the Minotaur was in? Or
I should be clear. I actually have not fought this particular Minotaur.
How many Minotaurs?
But I've heard tales.
Okay, tales
Minotaurs?
are good.
Yeah,
Specifically the Minotaurs, though?
you're in charge. I just was assuming, or at least hoping
Figure you-
you bought one.
Yeah, we thought
No,
maybe you'd done it before.
So
Yeah, this is.
I can see why you'd think that. But this is actually like bucket list for me. Like I've been waiting to get my first Minotaur. Like,
Right on.
I'm definitely overdue.
I would love to slit the throat of a Minotaur.
This guy is on.
Okay. Yeah, okay. Yeah. I just kind of shake my head, reach in my pack, and start handing out torches to anybody who wants one.
Great. So who is willing to carry
A torch. Who's going to say a
If
torch?
you want to see, you'll need something.
I'll take a torch.
I I feel like I
torch it
have
up?
too many things in my hand. If something happens, it's going to be difficult to fight. I can't have a torch.
Okay, great.
You're an elf. You can definitely see in the dark.
Oh, that's right. Elves have dark vision, so you're good. You don't need one.
Well, I didn't want to brag.
Yeah, I'll take a torch.
Torch
Trav will take a torch, but Hedwig doesn't want one. He says, I move in the shadows.
Don't we all? Really? One way or another. But...
All right, are we heading back in?
We are, but maybe we should change our order now. I think those of us who are not torched should probably take the lead.
Okay.
So
Hedwig and Jar Jar?
Hedwig, Jar Jar, and I have information. I guess I'll join them.
Right, and then Boople. Okay. So the passages aren't wide enough to go 3D, have 3 across people. So are you behind them or ahead of them, Boople? 2 across is the most you can fit.
I think 2 across would be me and Jar Jar, with Hedwig taking the lead.
Okay, great. That sounds right. Great, and then we'll put Sir Clip-Clop. We'll put Sir Clip-Clop and Trav in the back, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes, the rear guard.
Okay, so you head up the slope. You're looking into the cave. You see the charred bones of a huge humanoid kind of laying there. And if you are ready to head in, you will head in and you will follow the path that has already been kind of laid out for you by Darklaw. Are you ready to do that?
Ready.
Okay, and so you go inside, and ignoring the right-hand passage, you walk through the cave tunnel that continues to thin, so that you're still able to walk 2 abreast, but you're in a kind of a tight space until it opens out into this sort of landing where there are the 3 passages that were described to you by our friend. And I just want to see how Hedwig is doing on his little skill rolls to stay silent and in the shadows. Hedwig is completely invisible. You don't know where he's gone. He's like, you're kind of looking around with your torches. You're looking, Clip-Clop and Trav are holding their torches up, and you don't quite see Hedwig. He's jumped ahead of you. You could call out to him if you wanted. So there are 3 passages here in this sort of landing. One that goes off to the right, one that goes more straight ahead, and one that goes off to the left.
I'm getting a real Val Kilmer Heat vibe from Hedwig.
That's kind of why I dig him. He might be nuts, but he's my kind of nuts.
Oh, I've hung out with him a couple of days. He's full on crazy, you guys. He's like crazy.
Hey, Jared, I was smelling my way through the cave. Do one of these 3 passageways have a stronger odor than the other 3?
Ooh, what a wonderful question. You may roll. Do you have any kind of special skill for that as a halfling? I don't think you do, but I'm going to honor that excellent question because monsters tend to have an odor. Let me see here. Listen to it. Why don't you roll under your wisdom for me? Your wisdom is 11. So take a d20 and roll it and see if you get under your wisdom.
1.
That is so low under your wisdom that I'm going to tell you that the passage to the left has a definite smell to it. And with a 1 roll that's so low, I'm going to tell you that it smells like sweaty cattle.
You guys smell that? I bet there are minotaurs down there, or that's where his food is. Probably the minotaur, I bet.
So we could attack the minotaur at strength as our first encounter, but there's a very real possibility that the stream this evening would end early if we did so.
Do you think he keeps his treasure in the same cave that he's in? Or maybe if we go in a cave that he's not in, maybe he keeps his stuff. Like I don't keep my, I have tons of currency, and I don't carry it with me. I don't even keep it in my house. I got a fake house. I got a house just
keep it in your wallet.
I am going to rule that our friend Darklaw's sort of olfactory investigation took a little time. He is using it took you one exploration turn to get all the way to this landing, and then a second exploration turn was Darklar sort of sniffing around and detecting the smell of the Minotaur. So each of our other characters, if they would like, they may explore somehow using a skill or some sort of idea or an item right now. But if they do not, then I'm going to say
I
that's
actually
the
have
end of-
one.
Oh, great. What would you like to do?
Yeah, I wanted to see if I could find maybe a door somewhere that I could approach from another angle, so we could kind of come out the Minotaur from both sides.
Okay. So, in order for me to answer that question, you'll need to kind of move down one of these passages, because in this little area, there are is the passage to the right, the passage that's sort of ahead. It's kind of crooked though, and then the passage to the left. So, do you want to kind of look ahead at one of those areas?
I don't want to give too much as to why I like crooked things, but I want to go down the crooked path.
Right, that makes sense. And so going down the crooked path a little bit, let me see if that helps you at all, if that tells you anything.
Fine, I
Going
was in
around
an
the crooked
accident.
path. So, okay, yeah, so going down the crooked path, Wittershins around the willow tree, you actually come to another fork. So you find out that this sort of crooked, straight ahead path kind of then veers off to the right, and then it becomes a fork with like something, with a passage going to the far right, or a passage that looks like it curves back around to like sort of that straight direction you were going. So you've kind of mapped a little bit further of the caves. From that landing, you can go down the direct ahead path, and you come to another fork with a passage going to the right or straight ahead. And that is what has happened on your exploration turn, and you are seeing with like heat signatures with your magical elf vision. And so now I will ask Boople von Borplesby, is there anything you would like to do with your exploration turn?
Yes, I'm taking in this landing where we are. Now that we sort of know where the Minotaur is, I'm looking at this as a battleground. I'm thinking about advantageous ways to position ourselves, or how we might get the drop on a Minotaur if we were to fight here. My first thought being, I have the dwarven ability to detect construction tricks. I'm curious if I might use that ability to create a construction trick, like set a trap somehow. Like if we know he's going to be coming out of here, I can maybe set up a trip wire, or perhaps a deadfall, or something. I'm trying to give us some advantage in the early turns of a fight with a Minotaur, if this is the battleground.
Okay, so you want to set up a trap using your detect construction trick skill. I don't know. What is your detect construction trick skill?
2 and 6.
What items do you have on you to set a trap with?
I have a crowbar, a hammer, 12 iron spikes, 50 feet of rope.
Rather
large stack and a small
than rolling a detect skill, why don't you just tell me what trap you're setting up, and I'll allow you to do it?
I would like to use my iron spikes to take a classic Traven Gorn 10-foot pole and lash it across the mouth of the cave that he would be coming through.
The left-hand passage where our friend Darklar has detected an odor, or the
same,
straight ahead
the
passage?
same.
Okay, that one. Okay.
Yes. So that and tie it in such a way that it becomes like a tripping hazard for a charging bull coming out of that passage.
Y'all talking about tripstick?
Talking about tripstick.
With a pole.
Great. That's what you do with your exploration turn. You set up a tripstick. I'm not going to make you roll for that. It's a good idea, and it sounds like you had all the stuff you'd need to create sort of a wooden rod that's strung across the passageway that could trip a creature in theory. And finally, Sir Clip-Clop von Roachford, what would you like to do with your exploration turn?
Well, I guess that seeing what Boople's doing, I too have like 50 feet of rope on me, and a tinder box. Is there any way I can assist in like setting up a trap with him, or no? Or
Absolutely. You could set up a separate trap, or you could just assist his trap and make it more effective. Is that something you'd like to do?
I'd like to make. I'd like to assist because I don't want to make a trap that would I don't want to make a competing trap.
Tell me how tell me how you're assisting. What are you using the rope to do? How are you doing that?
Okay. So I want to if there's a way I could line the ground and make more of like a net. So like when the Minotaur trips the thing and trips, like he falls maybe into like a little bit more of like a woven kind of like he gets trapped essentially in a net.
You want to use a length of rope to become like a net. Is that what you're telling me?
Yeah. Maybe,
that I am going to make
you.
I am going to make you roll for, and I can tell you that it takes more than one turn to turn a rope into a net. It takes many turns to turn a rope into a net. It's going to take you 6 exploration turns to do that kind of crafting. I can tell you that you could set up. Oh, you know what? You could set up like a snare.
Yeah.
But it would have to be kind of manned. Does that make sense? Like someone would have to be like they're holding it and waiting to snare whatever fell into it.
That makes more sense for my skill set. What I got. So I'll do that.
Here's the move.
Great.
Your snare should be anchored to something here in the cave. Rocky, that because Minotaurs can be very strong. And if we can snare him around the head or the horns, we can keep him from getting to us. Then we can just hit him with arrows or hit him with long weapons like your spear, right?
Yes, that makes enough sense. So maybe I should look around and see if there's like a rock formation I can hook the snare up to.
Certainly, the one thing that there is in here is rock formations, and so if you would like to attach the other end of the snare to a stalactite or a stalagmite, you can do that. And so someone will need to, if I understand the plan correctly, someone will need to lasso this guy after he's fallen down from the tripwire, and then he will be this creature will, in theory, be tied to a stalagmite and not quite able to reach you guys to pound on you with his great claws and axe.
Yes, if I can say, I would suggest stalagmite because I'm not sure it would catch on a tight.
Mm-hmm. You can.
This is why you're here, Doctor.
That's great. So you actually say that as you come back from your little kind of scouting ahead. You tell them that, and now, gentlemen, we can take more exploration turns. That is done, by the way. That I'm not going to make you take several turns to do that. That's just done. You're able to snare a stalagmite, and you have your snare ready. You have your tripwire. Darklar has found where an interesting smell is coming from, and our friend Dr. Jar Jar has moved ahead and found out where the straightward passage, what it leads to, another fork. And so now let us start again. What would we like to do this turn? Let's start in the opposite order. Let's start with Clip-Clop. What would you like to do? Or should I go in the marching order? That sounds like the best thing to do. Hedwig asks, he suddenly appears out of nowhere, and he says, sorry. I'm like a ghost. I'm like a cockroach. You step on me, I come back to life. He says...
They don't do that.
They do, though. You have to step
real.
Really hard.
Yeah, I mean...
They come back to life?
Well, I don't think they come back to... Whatever.
You're thinking of Frankenstein.
Want me to go ahead? I'm thinking of Frankenstein's. I'm like a Frankenstein. You step on me, I come back to life. Do you want me to go into the smelly passage, or do you want me to explore up where Dr. Jar Jar was kind of looking around?
If you trust your skills, I think the move is you go into the smelly passage where I believe before too long you're going to find a Minotaur at rest. Perhaps a Minotaur begging for a throat slitting. But wait for our signal. We'll give you a whistle.
Okay,
when we're ready.
So he will wait. He'll wait till you're ready to go into that chamber or to go ahead into that passage. Boople, what do you want to do this round?
I'm going to find a position here in the landing, ideally something slightly high, where I can place Trav and myself or anybody who has a missile weapon, a place to be standing to shoot the Minotaur.
There are no high places, this being a subterranean cave, but we have established that there are stalagmites. Would you like to kind of duck down behind a stalagmite?
A place for cover, yeah.
Okay,
I'll put
so
Trav
you and
behind
Trav,
one.
yeah, you and Trav get behind stalagmites. And now I will ask Dr. Jar Jar, what would you like to do this round? You're still just exploring. You haven't met the enemy yet.
Well, I'm still looking for that door, but
you could go ahead. You could go farther down the passage you went if you'd like.
Yeah, I want to keep going, and much like my politics, I would like to go to the far right.
To the far right. Okay, going to the far right, which I happen to know. Well, I mean, I don't know Dr. Jar Jar's politics. Maybe they are far right. Dr. Jar Jar, you go to the far right, and you come out into yet another landing where there are many tunnels. And there's one to the left, one straight ahead, and one to the right.
I gotta be honest with you. I'm pretty disappointed.
Well, I don't blame you, but it is a labyrinth, and things pop up occasionally. I've been rolling to see if they do, but right now you're just in this dark cave, kind of creeping around. This area doesn't have anything in it currently, and so that is what your exploration has taught you: is that when you went straight ahead, you came to a fork, and then you took the right fork, and you came to another kind of three-way fork ahead of you. And so now I will ask in the back line, Sir Clip-Clop von Roachford, what would you like to do? Oh, I missed Darklar. Where is Darklar in this order? Darklar, you're... where are you standing or sitting? I don't know. I'm going to put you in the very back. So I am going to go to Clip-Clop von Roachford. What are you doing?
Well, I guess I'm working the snare, but I'm also taking in the scene, like, just one last kind of look around to make sure everything is set, I guess, and, like, if just really trying to check if there's, like, some other advantage that we're not utilizing in this cave. Like, is there, like, I don't know, maybe, like, can we use the, I don't know.
No, that's interesting. Okay, let me look. All right. Any other? No, you can just tell that the cave is kind of a labyrinth, so it would make sense that the Minotaur is in here. And if you make a roll under your intelligence, I'll give you a tip or a clue about how it might be utilized.
Excellent. Okay. Ooh, I got a 11.
Is that under your intelligence?
Yes, I believe.
Okay.
So wait, sorry. No. It's
not. Okay, so you're like, this place is very stony and dark.
I wish there were lizards I could poke.
Not sure if that's a useful thought or not, but it's the one you had. Okay, Trav is going to post up and just kind of get ready. He has his, he's like, I'll just train my crossbow on the passage you all are like paying attention to. And so finally, Darklar, what would you like to do this turn? Would you like to go ahead with Hedwig into the passage when they give the signal, or would you like to do something else?
What is the floor like in here?
Yeah,
like
that's
rocky?
A great question. It's stone. It's like
stone.
You're in a real cave here with like stalactites and hanging and stalagmites coming up out of the floor. It is limestone.
So it is. I couldn't put some of my arrows in the ground for him to fall on when he trips. It's just too rocky for that, I assume.
It would be tough. I mean, I could maybe allow you to try to like craft something if you have something in your inventory that would help you do that, but I don't know if you do. Looks like you have a short sword, a dagger, a short bow, a chainmail and a shield, a water skin and rations, a backpack. Yeah, you don't really have something that would allow you to like create like a whatever you call like a pit that people fall onto arrows.
And then so Jar Jar's down in one of the cave. He's down there exploring.
He wandered off. Yeah, he wandered off on his own a little bit. You could probably yell to him, but that might not be smart. You might arouse some monsters. Yeah.
I mean, and then I mean, you know, I look around and this place just looks so lonely. Like to live here looks so like sad. And I bet anybody who lived in these type of conditions just gets lonely after a while. And I don't know. I wonder if this Minotaur is really that bad of a person. I wonder if he just wants a friend. And I wonder if he wants to hear about. I mean, what if we got him to invest his money? What if we got him to invest? And I told him about Crypt Currency and try to sell him on it. And I don't know.
An interesting
the soft part
strategy.
that's going to get you killed.
Are you going to sneak ahead when you're given the signal and try parlay with the Minotaur?
Well, I want to. I don't want to go off on my own. I want to do what the party thinks. So, I mean, I'm willing to go ahead and flush the Minotaur out by talking to him if that is what happens, and if the group is okay with that. Are we ready? I mean, should I go ahead? Do you guys feel pretty set up?
Hedwig and it sounds like Hedwig and Darklar are ready for the signal to go ahead and see what's beyond in that cave.
I'm gonna hold one more turn to give Darklar a chance to, if he wants to abort this mission. I don't want to make a murderer of a man who's not ready to be a murderer.
I just think of my poor pop just slain by that mail carrier, and it just breaks my heart to have that all happen again.
Sure.
And
I know.
Listen, this is how you're practically a Batman. This is how you make those.
Trav kind of
You're
looks at all
dangerous.
of you and goes, "What are we talking about?"
We're opening up about adventuring. It's it's fine.
Okay.
is there?
I will ask, because time is passing with this conversation.
Yeah.
Would our friend Dr. Jar Jar like to return from the passages he is exploring back to where his companions are? Would he like to continue to kind of wander?
I still think that they have whatever they're doing. I think my best option is to try to at least get in the room, and using my tininess, I think I could get in the room with the Minotaur undetected, and then wait for you guys to get there, to come from a different angle. But I'm also a little afraid I'm just going to get lost in the maze.
Me too. I think you might already be close. Our plan is to lure the Minotaur to us as opposed to go into where he is.
You know what? Is it possible to find a door here back to the guys?
There are no
There's a
doors.
door.
I'm gonna go ahead and
Real
tell
bad.
you, there is no door.
You
Where's the
gave
door?
me
Hey,
a sheet of my
There hasn't been
character.
a door the entire time. There's
You
no
gave
door.
me shit. Look, all this dude does is find doors.
Well,
I detect secret doors. I got
well,
canines.
look, okay, maybe you will find one at some point, but right now you haven't found any place that looks like it. And you didn't tell me you were trying to find secret doors either. Listen,
Well, maybe, perhaps I need to find myself.
maybe so. And you're to find yourself by answering this question. Are you returning to your companions, or are you going to keep kind of looking for a secret way into this chamber that they're all getting ready? Because I don't think that's a good idea. It's
Look,
a
it's
dangerous
clear
idea,
that
but all
nobody
the ideas
wants
are
me to
dangerous.
do it.
That's why you should do it.
I was informed this was a game where you could do anything.
That's right. And that's true.
I mean,
And look, I don't feel like I've connected with any of my fellow journeymen besides Trav. Obviously, we have a lot in common. Nobody talks about that.
all right. Let's open up. How did you become a fake doctor?
No, there's no opening up. He's far away down the passageway. No,
I'm
you
going
want to
left.
come back to your companions.
No, I'm
Or do
going
you wanna
left. I'm
continue-
going further.
Okay, you're going left now. Okay, great. So when you go left,
Yes.
you are now pretty far from your friends, and it would take
Okay,
you
but
kind of
closer to the doors.
going left. The passage curves around.
Yes.
Curves around.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 second. And with your infrared eyes, my friend Dr. Jar Jar, you suddenly look up and you realize that the side of the cave has changed. It doesn't have the same texture anymore. In fact, it has kind of a lumpier, sort of almost honeycombed texture. and you realize that your infravision is picking up a lot of heat in this area. In fact, a lot of little things are kind of moving through this kind of section of the wall that looks lumpier or more honeycombed. And
You're as good as dead.
let's see here. That's a 6. Oh, okay. Well, you realize that you're looking like you hear like,
Oh, no.
and you realize that you're looking at some sort of insect's nest up ahead of you. And now we will go back to your companions. And now I want to know: are you whistling and calling for them to go ahead now, gentlemen?
Darklar, you're the man who whistles. Is this happening?
Wait, okay. Should I? We're asking if I want to whistle to Jar Jar.
Okay,
The whistle
no.
would be.
We're asking if we are going ahead and scouting into this cave that everybody's been preparing a snare for, and they've been preparing tripwires for, and you found a cave with an interesting spell. Are we going to scout ahead into it?
I just want to warn you, there's no doors in there.
Is there? How high is the ceilings in here?
The ceiling is 6 feet.
Okay. I want to.
It's
if
low.
if I wanted to climb up above and hang on to a stalagmite,
tight.
Tight.
If I want to climb up and hang on to a stalactite above the Minotaur to get the drop on him as he trips, or to facilitate a trip.
I haven't described the room that the Minotaur is in yet, so you don't know if there are stalactites in it to hang on to. You don't have to do this. Mm-hmm. Hedwig is going to do it when they give the signal, but the plan, as I understood it, is people are going to scout ahead into this room and try to draw the Minotaur back.
Then I'll go forward, yes.
Then you will go forward, okay.
I will scout and go forward, yes.
Okay, so here it is now happening. The signal is given by Darklar. Hedwig and Darklar move forward. Hedwig's going to roll his move silently again. Okay, Hedwig runs ahead, trips, falls. One of his daggers falls, making a loud clanging sound on the ground. You see ahead of you, between two huge kind of columns of stone, there is a lighted chamber. It was not quite visible back from the landing you were in because it was kind of around a corner, but between two columns of stone, you see a chamber that has skulls and bones arrayed in decorative patterns. All over the walls, there are many humanoid skulls and bones that have been made into all kinds of beautiful decorations. You also see the accoutrements of a humanoid creatures. There's like kind of a rough sort of stone table, some sort of chest over in one corner. But you also immediately hear the snuffing and huffing and grunting of a large beast. And then suddenly filling the doorway in a huge silhouette with long curving that is approximately 7 feet tall. And one of its baleful eyes immediately alights upon Hedwig, who failed his roll to move silently horribly after doing well many times.
Oh no!
To Hedwig. That is a 2 or less, which means that he is hostile and he attacks. And so now we will move into what we call our combat round, and it's very simple. I'm going to ask you in your marching order what you do for each of these phases. The first one is that I would like both your side and the monster side to roll a d6.
Darklar, will you roll that for us?
I got a 2.
The monster got a 5, so the monster will be going first as we go forward here. And so now I will ask the monster what it wants to do. The monster gets to go first. So the monster is going to run forward, hefting an axe over, someplace over the doorway, one of these columns that kind of flank the room. He pulls an axe off of one of them, moves forward to Hedwig, and it attacks. Let's see what kind of damage a Minotaur can do. Let's see. Its THAC0 is Woo, baby. Okay. Echo. Oh my God. Okay. And he's got a head and AC of, let's call it that. Yeah. Yeah, he hits. And so he is now going to do his damage, which is his huge, massive battle axe comes down on Hedwig, and he does only 2 damage to Hedwig. Hedwig is not dead.
Yeah.
Darklar, you see Hedwig in front of you. He's laying on the ground, like trying to reach his dagger that he dropped, and the axe goes into his back, and he's like, ah! And blood starts pouring out of his mouth, and he's like, run! As the thing's like, like it like pulls its axe out of his back, and now it is your team's turn. You guys can go in any order you want, and we're gonna start with where you would like to move. Right? Would anybody like to move?
No, Boople's saying
I would say
hold.
Darklar,
Hold.
you might want to move because you're kind of in this thing. This thing could notice you any second now.
Okay, so I will join because I'm sort of I'll join the rest of the party.
Okay,
Right?
so you run back to join the rest of the party, and you realize that there are these traps that are meant to trip up somebody, but it's dark, and you don't have night vision. And I'm not sure if you were carrying a torch, but I need some sort of roll to make sure that you don't get tripped up by your friend's traps. And so in order to give me that roll, would you please just try to roll under your dexterity, please? Roll a d20 and try to roll under your dexterity.
Okay, I rolled an 8.
And what's your dexterity, my friend?
11.
You deftly hop over the little wooden tripwire, and then you hop over Sir Clip-Clop's snare, and you're back in the landing with your companions. And next round, if you'd like, you could move and get behind one of the Stalagmites where Boople and Trav are waiting. Okay, and so now, would anybody else like to move? Oh, I'll ask Dr. Jar Jar, even though you're kind of far off on your own adventure now, would you like to leave this area or investigate these strange insects you found?
I want to.
You hear the screams of a man and a monster off to the southwest.
Okay. I got to find out about these creatures.
Jesus Christ.
I gotta see what's up, man. Honestly, no one knows how this thing works, how this maze works, and
Getting killed by bees is the worst way to die.
Now, is there a possibility that I will kill them?
There is. There certainly is.
Yeah.
But then what?
Then you get your little tiny bee treasures.
Yeah.
Well, you get XP. You get XP, and that's good.
Yeah,
And XP allows you to level up, and they may have some sort of they may have something in their nest that might be of use to you.
I'm going for it.
Okay, so
Say no
are you gonna?
more.
So you're not. So we're just on right now. So are you gonna move closer? Are you gonna stay where you're at?
I'm moving closer.
Okay, so you move up close where you're within melee range. You can start stabbing into this nest if you'd like. And I'm gonna at that point give these creatures a no. I already gave them a reaction roll. They were indifferent before, but I think you moving closer means they get another reaction roll at their nest.
Okay.
Okay, interesting. Okay.
Friendly.
So now we've done movement. Nobody else wanted to move, and so now we go for missile attacks. The creature is not visible to any of you yet. So are we skipping the attacks here?
Holding.
Yes, we.
The only
attack
person that can. Would you like? Okay, so do you want to just attack the nest?
No, I do want to see if they're friends.
You want to see if these insects are friends? Okay, so
I
I
don't
just
know.
want to describe the nest for you for a second. As
Okay.
you watch it, you're a lot closer now. Scintillating, kind of like bands of like red
What'd you say,
energy.
undulating?
Oh.
Undulating too. They could be undulating.
Okay.
Bands of sort of fiery red energy kind of smolder across the surface of this insect's nest. And they still have not come out of their hive to meet you, which is probably a good sign for you. Would you like to stab a weapon into the nest, or should we go to the next round?
Go to the next round. They're
Very
they're on their
good.
own
He's
journey.
waiting. He's just finding out what's happening with it. He's just exploring it. And so we come to the next round.
I'm impatient. Stab it.
What's that?
Stab it. I changed my mind. Stab it. I gotta stab
Okay,
it.
I'm not even gonna make you roll. You stab what? Let's see what kind of weapon you're using. I'm not even
You
gonna
stabbing the
make you-
bees?
He's
I don't know
stabbing-
that they're bees.
They are not bees. They are not bees. Everybody.
Hey!
Are you using my
Not the
friend
bees.
Dr. Jar Jar? Are you wielding your dagger or your sword?
Oh, this is a job for the sword.
Okay, great. I think that you can go ahead and just roll damage because nothing was dodging you, nothing was fighting you. You're just stabbing into a hive. So would you
Okay.
please go ahead and roll the damage for your sword, which is a D6, I believe? Yeah, no, a D8. Roll a D8.
Okay. 6.
6. Okay, let's
Big
see.
numbers.
6, 6, 6.
Big money numbers.
Oh my God. Okay, so this is amazing. So Dr. Jar Jar comes into the nest, and when he pulls his sword out, there's this huge, like a chihuahua-sized beetle on the end of it, dripping lava out of its thorax and screaming before the glowing red embers inside of it suddenly die and it goes dark. And now you can see in the hole, like all these other kind of eyes lighting up with like kind of like a fiery glow as they're like coals on a campfire as these creatures start to swarm. Now that you've attacked them, I don't have to make a reaction roll anymore. They're going to come and try to end your life, Dr. Jar Jar. But first, let's find out what Hedwig did. Hedwig, when he was given the chance, he tried to stab on this melee turn. He tried to stab the Minotaur with his dagger. Let's see how he does. Minotaur's AC is that. Oh, look at that. He hits.
Yeah.
He does a D. Oh, man, this guy wasn't joking. He looks to kick ass. He did 2 damage to the Minotaur.
What?
Oh, he's trading blows 1 for 1.
That guy is fucking nuts, and I love it.
Yeah. Okay. So, he actually did something, you guys. He's still laying on his back, screaming "run" at Darklar, who did in fact run. And now we come to the second round of the combat, and the Minotaur will ignore Hedwig, whom it steps over and runs after Darklar because it knows it's brought Hedwig to its knees. It's not worried about Hedwig anymore. It ignores Hedwig and runs after Darklar down the passage. And let's see if your little trappy traps worked. I think in order to notice these things, it must roll its wisdom because it must notice that there is an issue, right?
I think so.
I think that makes sense. So I'm going to go ahead and see if it can notice any. Let's see. It's aggressive. It has weapons, and that's all it tells us. It doesn't tell us it has any other special abilities. And so I'm going to call it this. It fails. It fails. It rolled a 19. It was trying to roll under an 11 to notice things. And so when it comes to where Boople has placed like kind of a metal pole, one of Traven Gorm's
It's a
famous
tripstick.
poles, it's a tripstick. When he hits the tripstick, it kind of falls and goes head over heels forward, landing hard right in the center of where our friend Clip-Clop has set his snare.
It's snare time.
And so I'm going to go ahead and say that our Minotaur cannot make a melee attack because there is no one within melee range, and his move has been kind of stopped by that. And so I will now move to our heroes. And I will start with, would anybody like to move this
Yes,
round?
I would.
Okay. Darklar, where would you like to go?
Well, I've been inspired by Hedwig, and I want Bloodlust again. He's inspired me. You know, I was soft, and now my own have been struck down. I want to take my torch and run. Instead of running away, I want to run straight forward to this Minotaur, and I want to try to light his loincloth on fire.
Okay, incredible. I think this is incredible. Okay, so Darklar turns around with his torch and runs back toward the Minotaur, and that is his move. Would anybody else like to move?
No.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
You're right. You're okay where you're at, Clip-Clop?
Yeah, I guess I'll hold the snare while he's doing all that.
Okay, well, yeah, the plan has already got some snags in it, but now we come to missile attacks, and the Minotaur is definitely within missile attack range for Trav and anybody else who's wielding a missile weapon. I'm going to make the snare be kind of a melee attack thing, if that's okay with you, Sir Clip-Clop. Actually, no, wait, you're doing it at range, right?
Yeah, I guess range. I am.
I think then I want you to roll under your strength, and you can go ahead and make that as a ranged attack if you'd like.
Okay.
And would you like to fire at the creature, Boople?
I would.
Okay, and so will Trav.
All right, so I rolled 11 under my 15 strength.
Great. And so, describe to me exactly what your snare does, because that is successful. Sir Clip-Clop straining against this half-mule monster pulls his rope tight as Darklar approaches screaming with a torch. And what do you do? How does it work?
Well, I guess I'm just like restraining or at least like the snare. I'm like trying to pull that like the head down, so it's like, you can't really get a good look at Darklar while he's like trying to light his crotch on fire. Does that make the most sense?
It does. So what I understood earlier was that it's tied to a stalagmite, and that it kind of goes tight around him in some way and limits the Minotaur's movement. Is that still the case, or are you now telling me you're trying to kind of wrangle him whichever direction you want?
Yeah, I'm trying to wrangle him, I guess.
Okay, so you've abandoned the idea to limit his movement, and now every round, if you want to move him one way or another, you'll need a strength roll to do it. But I can tell you that what you've just told me is you'd like to prevent him from attacking Darklar, and so I'm going to say with your first successful strength roll, you've got his neck pulled a certain way so that he cannot kind of target Darklar. Okay,
awesome.
And so how did your ranged attack go, Boople?
I got a 13. I don't know if that's good enough or not.
13 is good enough, actually. It is good enough.
And 4 damage.
How much damage did you do?
4.
4 damage, okay. And so Trav fires and misses. His crossbow bolt goes clattering against a stalactite or something like that, and he misses. And so now it's time for melee attacks. So let's jump back to Dr. Jar Jar, far off in another part of the corridor. Dr. Jar Jar, these things are going to attack right after you guys are done with your melee attack this round. Would you like to stab another one? You got that free surprise round to kill them when you stabbed into their nest. Would you like to attack another one?
I don't think stabbing is I didn't realize there was so many. I thought maybe there was one creature in the wall.
6 more.
There's a lot. Okay, so
there's 6 more. Yeah.
This it's a little unorthodox, but I want to reach into my satchel, and I actually brought a jar of my elixir, my mustache growing elixir, which is, full disclosure, it's bug spray. So
okay.
I want to shower these bugs with my bug spray mustache grower.
I will allow it to be true. I will allow it to be true if you can roll under your intelligence. You have an intelligence of 10. Roll a d20 for me, and if you roll 10 or under, you have, in fact, one of your elixirs is, in fact, a bug repellent, and you happen to know that.
A 10 or under.
On a d20. Okay. You have a 50-50.
5, baby!
Yeah.
You take one of your elixirs, you uncork it, you spray it all over these things, and I'm going to have them react to that. This is fun. That was a cool move. I like it.
That was choice. That was great.
Yeah, let's see how they do. Okay, so 4 of the 6 more that you're looking at squeal and sort of cower and try to get deeper into the nest away from you, but 2 are still in the game, baby. So you've fully taken out 4 of the 6 that were still moving. You've got 1 on the end of your sword, but 2 are still alive and kicking. And so let's see, that was a melee attack. And does anybody else have a melee attack to make? I don't think so, right?
Did Darklar do his torch to the?
Oh yeah,
loincloth?
thank you, Boople. Yes, Darklar, would you like to make your torch attack to the Minotaur's loincloth?
Do I have any centaur spray on me?
I'm afraid not. We never established that you were carrying bottles full of you might think worthless chemicals, but then you realize how useful they are.
All right, so I'll continue my loincloth torching attempt.
Okay, great. Give me a D20 roll, and I can tell you that this thing has a fairly low AC, so he's kind of hard to hit. He's very defensive. How'd you roll?
18.
That's incredible.
Siri just came on my computer because I think I said something Siri-like. I said something, hey, I'm not going to say it again. How did you roll?
18.
An 18 is a great roll, and so hit him. You hit him with your loincloth torch. And would you please roll a D4 for me? Because I think a torch will only do a D4 when you club it against someone. But I'm gonna roll to see if it catches his loincloth on fire.
All right. So what do I roll?
Roll a D4 to see how much damage you've done, smashing him in the balls with a burning torch.
2.
Okay. So 2 damage, smashing him in the balls with a burning torch. And now I'm going to roll to see if his loincloth catches on fire. And I'm going to roll a D6, and if it comes up 4, 5, or 6, the loincloth catches on fire. 2, you just smashed him in the balls with a burning torch. Now, thankfully, your good friend, Sir Clip-Clop, has made it so he can't attack you this round.
Thank you.
And we'll see how that... So it is now their turn. It's now the monster's turn again. For shits and giggles, let's have these 2 fire beetles attack Sir Jar Jar first. They come crawling out of the hive. 3 glowing glands cast a light on you, Dr. Jar Jar, directly on you, and then they kind of jump forward and try to bite you, each of them. And here they go. What is your AC, Dr. Jar Jar? Your AC is
7.
6. I have a 6 for you. You're wrong. It's 6.
Oh, okay.
So
6.
Here they go. Yeah, you're like, I don't know what you're talking about. Whatever you say it is.
Well,
okay.
in a different place, it says AC 7 for leather.
Oh, that's right. Okay.
The 6 is because you have a shield.
Oh, okay.
Okay. So, one of them hits you. One of them, not both of them. One is actually bashed away by your shield, and the other one gets his little mandibles into you to the tune of how much damage? 2d4 damage. And we know that our friend Dr. Jar Jar has 6 hit points. Let's see. That's 4 hit points of damage.
Oof.
You are down to 2 hit points versus these fire beetles.
However,
Dr. Jar Jar,
now that there's no more beetles, I'm free to collect the treasure in the room.
there are 2 beetles still left, and one just bit you. I don't know what you're talking about.
The other one, I thought they only
Nice
get
try.
one attack.
Actually, there's a cocktail and a pretty lady and a pile of cash. No, not what's
Whole
happening.
pile of cocaine.
Okay, so now it's the Minotaur's turn, and because we established that our friend Sir Clip-Clop is keeping the Minotaur kind of pulled one way, he can't quite reach Darklar, and so the Minotaur will just try to break free of the snare using kind of a strength roll. I think that makes good sense. Let's see how he does. Our Minotaur friend will try to break free. Here we go. And he does it. I'm so sorry, Sir
Crap
Clip-Clop.
balls.
But he just kind of rips the rope free, and that will be his sort of like melee action or whatever. And he wasn't able to move. That's the only thing he was able to do is break free of your snare, and now he can attack freely. But he doesn't get to attack this round.
He still has to stand up, correct?
He's kind of like on his knees right now. Okay. So now we come to your side. Would anybody like to move?
No, I'm going to stay where I am.
And you're going to stay
I'll move.
there. Okay, good idea. Are you running away?
Uh-huh.
Are you
Don't lead them back to us.
Maybe the beetles will attack the Minotaur. I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Get that
Yeah,
lava on
maybe.
him.
Guess what? I don't care. I'm leaving.
You come back to that three-way passage you found before.
Yeah.
Would you like to head back the way? Well, that's where you're at now. You've run that far.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay. I'm going to roll a monster morale to see if these beetles keep following you. Okay. And that's your move. Would anybody else like to move? No? Okay.
No.
Nope.
Okay. You're staying right in there close with it, huh, Darklar?
Yeah.
Okay.
God, I mean, part of me wants to go down this third tunnel we haven't explored yet and get this Minotaur to chase me down there to see what happens. But I guess I should stay and fight.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's up to
You're
you.
in his
It really
house.
is.
Nothing.
Yeah, he knows what's going on. Yeah, you're right. All right, let's fight.
Missile attacks. Who's making a missile attack?
Boople.
Ooh, I will
And
too.
Trav. Fire! Fuck!
14.
He misses again. How'd you do?
14.
14. Your THAC0 is still 19, right, Clint?
That's correct. Well, actually, well, hang on. I went up in level. Did my THAC0 change? This is going to be very exciting.
That's why
in a
I
bit.
was asking, buddy. But I don't think it changes at third level.
It didn't. It didn't.
It
It's still
did.
19.
Okay. And it's still a hit, so do your damage, friend.
3.
3 damage, and there are now 2 of Boople's arrows sticking out of the neck and like pecs of this massively muscled bull man who continues to make disturbing donkey noises. That is the missile attacks phase. Trav misses and goes, fuck, again. And now would anybody like to make melee attacks? That's probably Darklar and possibly Sir Clip-Clop. You're close enough.
Go ahead.
Oh, you? Yeah, no. I'll try and help Darklar out then, since my snare has now been released from me. I'd be like, "Well, to arms it is," and I whip out my blade and my sword, and I go over, and I guess I'm gonna try and attack the Minotaur.
Go
slide.
for it.
All right, let me roll.
Do it! I want blood!
Ooh, I got an 11. Oh wait,
An 11 is
Yeah.
not enough, my friend, Sir Clip-Clop. And so unfortunately, your swing goes wide. You miss the Minotaur. And now, Darklar, would you like to swing again with your burning torch or use another weapon, or are you attacking it?
I want to attack it.
Okay. Are you using your burning torch again?
No, let's use a weapon.
Very good. You have a short sword. You have a dagger. And those are the 2 that you could use in this instance.
Let's use the short sword.
Very good. Give me a D20 roll.
Okay.
Tell me how it goes.
D20 gives me a 7.
7 is not enough. So you 2 swing and miss the thing. And this creature is just like, it's the bucking bronco now. It got rid of the snare that was holding it down. It knocks your short sword out of the way with its huge obsidian horns. And it snorts with evil, bloodthirsty glee as the round now comes to it. Does it want to move? No. It wants to kill intruders. And so it will now choose between our friends Darklar and Sir Clip-Clop by making a simple roll. And it is Darklar that it has chosen to attack. And Darklar, your AC is a good AC. Here it goes. It's attacking you. Uh-oh, SpaghettiOs. Okay, its THAC0 is low.
Uh-oh.
It rolled high. Yeah, your AC of 4, it hits. And so now it's going to do its damage, a D8 of damage.
Am I dead?
Almost certainly.
You just took 2 damage.
Oh,
So I got one
almost
left?
dead.
1 HP left.
Damn.
All right.
So it smashes you in the abdomen with its axe. And Darklar, you can feel your guts want to fall out of the front of you. You can smell things you shouldn't smell that should be on the inside of your body. Things are getting kind of fuzzy and blurry, but it has not slain you yet. And then we come to the fire beetles to see if their morale roll went well. So they did move after you, and let's see if they're able to catch up with you, though. Let's see if they're as quick and nimble-footed as the elf Dr. Jar Jar. Dr. Jar Jar has standard movement.
Oh, sorry. I forgot. I like a lot of actors on set. I forgot my name.
No, don't worry. Oh, they move way faster than you. So they are able to catch up to you. They have 120 feet of movement because they can kind of like fly on their little beetle wings. And so they are going to attack Dr. Jar Jar. Here
are you sure? Because I really think I could reason with them.
The fire beetles?
Look, they're homeless, and they're going to need help.
Would you? Well, unfortunately, you should have called for that on your turn. There is no reasoning with them now. It is their turn, and they are attacking. One of them rolls quite well. One of them rolls abysmally. So one of them has damage coming at you. It bites into you. So you're running down the hallway, and these like glowing ember, like glowing orange insects come zipping down the corridor after you, and one lands on your back and snaps its mandibles into your neck. And let's see, it does a D4 of damage, if I'm not mistaken. Here's its damage. Come on. Oh, 2D4. Okay, here we go.
Uh-oh.
Nice.
Okay.
That's 3 damage and 4 damage, 7 damage, which kills. I'm so sorry to do this to you, Dr. Jar Jar, but the fire beetles, in my defense, you walked up to their hive and stabbed as much as you could, have murdered you. And so falling in the passage where he was running through, Dr. Jar Jar hits the ground, and these 2 burning bugs the size of chihuahuas land on his back and his neck, and they start biting into him. And immediately, poor Dr. Jar Jar's his cloak and his clothes start to catch fire because fire beetles are very incendiary. And Dr. Jar Jar, I just want to ask you: do you think that you had any chemicals inside of your repertoire of alchemical potions that might have been explosive or flammable?
I thought it was the fire beetles.
Well, I'm just asking you, did you have any chemicals on you that might be flammable?
I had some, okay? I also had some no-grow for kids who grow too fast. And I got to be honest with you, full disclosure, it's just pure alcohol.
So I decided on a 5 or 6 that our friend Dr. Jar Jar, the fire beetles accidentally ignite one of the more flammable things in his pack, right? And I rolled a 5, and so that means that suddenly the fire beetles ignite something in Dr. Jar Jar's pack, a chemical that he had there that was kind of volatile, and Dr. Jar Jar and the fire beetles explode. Now, what does this mean? Well, you are in a subterranean cave. And so now,
Jesus.
Things start to rumble. Stalactites start to drop because a huge explosion has gone off. An immense cloud of dust starts roiling out of the passages where Dr. Jar Jar went to fight the fire beetles. That will cause additional difficulty for everyone. What a round. It is now your turn. Would anybody like to move?
No.
I will.
I want to tell Nick and Nick, the last time we came to this cave, I had 3 characters die, so don't feel bad. No one gets out of this cave alive.
Well,
Rest in peace, Dr. Jar Jar. Rest in peace as you exploded.
I do want to say a special shout out to Max on the chat who named the fire beetles Ringo and Paul.
That's about right.
That is nice. Yeah, that's
nice.
a nice ad.
Okay, good night.
You are welcome to split if you need to, because we are at 9:00. But you can also stay to see what happens. We are wrapping this up in a second. It seems like, my friends, who would like to move?
No one.
Yeah.
Very good. We are standing our ground in a collapsing cave, and now we come to missile attacks.
Yes.
Okay.
Come on,
Here
Boople.
they go. Here comes Trav. Trav misses again. He sucks.
Damn it.
You got
I got a
nat
20 anyway.
Okay,
Yeah.
a
Yes.
nat 20 is enough for you to see through the clouds of smoke, clouds of dust that have been brought up by Dr. Jar Jar's explosion, and so you may do your damage.
It is double damage. Do you want 2 dice or 1 die doubled?
I say double whatever you roll.
4, 2, so 8.
8.
Nice.
8 damage. So again, an arrow this time goes right into the beast's like jugular, like and now it's melee attacks, right? Melee attacks, or does anybody else have a range? Okay, so the first thing I want to tell you is that someone is dragging themselves from behind the Minotaur and finally gets up a strength to get up and stab him one more time. It's Hedwig.
You
That
crazy
is angry
bastard.
inch of steel.
I love this man.
Unfortunately, he does very poorly.
Oh.
Yep,
Those things
he
are
doesn't
only
get
an
enough.
inch long.
He goes, he doesn't quite make it. And now it is up to the other players. Sir Clip-Clop, are you taking a swing?
Yeah, I'm gonna come at it and try and cleave this Minotaur into 2. Let's see. 19.
That's a hit.
Tight.
Yeah.
This is a big
Do your
round.
damage.
Right. Let me roll for the 8. Here we go. 1d8. 4.
4 damage. The Minotaur falls to one knee. It had previously gotten up to its full height, and now it's like, and now it is all up to our friend
Darklar.
Jared,
He may slay the beast.
Jared, I'm bleeding, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yes,
I'm bleeding. There's just red everywhere, all over my torn clothes, right?
Yes.
So I rip part of my clothes off. So I have a big red piece of fabric. And some of the stalagmites that have fallen down the explosion create these big sharp things pointing out. So I wave my red torn clothes in front of this stalagmite that's on the tights that he can't see. And I want to get trying to bait the Minotaur into coming. Toro!
All you have to do that is roll under charisma for me. You have a 10. If you roll a 10 or lower on a d20, you will have convinced him to attack, to charge, rather.
And, okay, what do I roll? The 21?
Roll a d20 and get a 10 or lower.
18.
It is not in any way tricked by your blood-soaked scarf. The dice were against you this day, my friend, and I will now rule that any attacks from here on out, there's so much dust in the cavern that it is hard to see, so attacks are going to be tougher. And so they're even going to be tougher for him when he first decides whether to attack you or Clip-Clop, and he ends up attacking Darklar again.
Oh.
But I'm going to see here. Okay. So I kind of gave him disadvantage because it's very smoky in here, and he failed. He failed on one of the rolls, so he kind of swings and misses you. And that's his round. The fire beetles have exploded. That's all over. I'm going to let you guys know that some stalagmites are going to start falling right away. Already things are obscured. It's harder to do like ranged attacks. Would anybody like to move?
No.
Everybody standing their ground?
Hell yeah.
Missile attacks. Here comes Travs. There it is. He hit.
I didn't.
Travs. Oh.
Yeah, he hit both. You didn't hit?
Nope.
Okay. Trav doesn't kill him, though. A bolt goes into the creature's shoulder, and it's still screaming. And so now we come to melee attacks.
All right.
After this round, I'm going to just start dropping stalactites, boys. Who's attacking with a melee attack?
All right. I'm going to try and cleave this dude's head in twine. 14.
That is maybe not a hit. Let me see.
Oh, no.
Yeah. Oh,
Oh, it is a hit. You got it.
Yay. All right.
great.
Roll for damage. Ooh, 6.
Sir Clip-Clop, describe how you finally slay this vicious bovine marauder.
I whip out my blade. I realize it's already out. And I just sort of plunge it right into, like, the throat area, down into here. So, like, you know, hit the heart. But he's also drowning in his own blood as he dies. It's beautiful.
Very good. The arterial spray comes geysering up into your face and your mouth. It's so hot and wet. Oh, it's so cathartic. It feels amazing. Holy shit. Yeah. Yeah. Blood sport. And now people have to let me know what they're doing because I'm going to start making luck rolls to see if stalactites fall on them.
Oh, well, we have to get the treasure?
It looks like now's not a good time unless someone would like to go deeper and try to get the treasure.
That's the whole point.
How long can stalactites
It was
fall?
the whole point, but Dr. Jar Jar exploded.
He did explode. We couldn't. Hands are tied.
Enough talk. All melee combatants are gone. What are you doing? Boople von Borplesby.
I flee.
Trav also flees. Sir Clip-Clop.
I guess I'll flee too. If the whole cave is coming down. Yeah.
Darklar, you don't have to do what they do. Do you flee or do you go deeper to try to get the treasure before the cave collapses?
I want to go in that other tunnel we never went down.
You want to go to a completely new tunnel.
Wait. Do we know where the treasure is? Which tunnel or where?
Well, it's very likely where the Minotaur came from. Usually the monsters guard treasure, and you knew that you saw a chest in that room. Would you like to go into that room?
Yes.
Very good. Okay. So, those of you who are fleeing, I'll let you flee in one turn, but I'm going to roll. And if I get a 5 or 6, you're hit by a falling stalactite. You're okay, Boople. Now it's Sir Clip-Clop's turn. You're okay, Sir Clip-Clop. Now it is Trav's turn. He also gets out. Let's see how Hedwig does. Hedwig hasn't been hit yet, and as you start to go into that chamber, you see Hedwig is still crawling with his 1 hit point, and he's like, no, it's mine! And you both go into the room, and then I'm going to roll to see if our friend Darklar gets hit by a stalactite as he's going in here. He gets a 5.
Oh.
I'm sorry.
Oh, no.
The dice do is what they do. I'm so sorry.
I want the money.
1 damage, but that's enough.
Oof.
He goes back for the chest. You can see the chest glittering in there just as the stalactite hits you in the head and you fall down. And Hedwig, the last thing you see is Hedwig with his knife in his mouth, continuing to crawl toward the treasure as rocks fall. And outside the cave, you all see a big cloud of dust come up out of the cave. And then things are silent.
Back into the cave.
You're going to go back in?
Absolutely.
I mean, if
Okay,
it's,
a little bit
Tell
later.
Hedwig that-
Yeah,
like,
a little
they're
bit
all
later,
dead.
you go back into the cave. How long do you wait before you go in?
well, the second I don't hear falling rocks anymore, so a minute.
Okay, great. You wait a minute, and then you go back into the cave, and you're walking along, and you find the dead Minotaur, and then you find dead Darklaw, like skewered by a stalactite. And you walk a little farther, and you find dead Hedwig, who is halfway to the chest, but skewered by a stalactite. And you walk a little further in, and in this chamber, you find, in fact, a big chest. That's very obvious. There's some pottery along one wall. Oh, and then there's another chest.
Is there a door anywhere?
Yeah, where are the doors?
There is no obvious door anywhere.
I will. Are the chests carryable?
The chests are big and heavy.
Do you
Not
want to
carryable.
Two men can carry one out.
You want tandem carry a chest or?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's do it.
Okay. You get it outside, and it is still shut, but you've managed to carry it out, and getting it back to the fort will be kind of a job, and it'll take 2 men at least to carry it. Would you like to go back in and look around some more? There was a chest and a bunch of pottery.
Let's get the 2 chests out.
But you only have one more guy with you. You only have Trav left with you, Sir Clip-Clop and Boople. So it seems like that chest might be too heavy to carry. You can explore around in here. You want to look around?
Yeah, let's explore the Minotaur chamber.
One last look.
So there are skulls and bones everywhere. Tell me how you're exploring.
I will start with the pottery. Does it contain anything, or does it appear to be?
Yes, it does. You search and you find a kind of a pot that seems to be locked, and you can tell that there are things jangling around inside of it. All of it sounds very kind of fragile. Tell me how you'd like to get it open. You can do that on this exploration turn if you'd like.
Sure. I will take a hammer and an iron spike, and I will just break off the top of the pot.
Very good. If I roll a 6, you break something badly, and it's not your fault. That's a really good way to do it, but this stuff might fall out in a bad way. I didn't roll a 6. 3 big potion bottles, when you finally crack the coffer, they come rolling out.
Oh, Jar Jar would have loved these.
And now, Sir Clip-Clop, how are you exploring?
Can I look around? Can I open one of these chests and see what's inside?
You go to open the one that's left in the room, and it is locked. Would you like to try to use your exploration turn to unlock it?
Yes, I would.
Very good. Do you have any skill in that area?
I don't think so, but let me check again.
Give me
go rummage around in the Minotaur's loincloth for the key.
Okay. I'll go do that then.
You only find extremely off-putting, gigantic Minotaur genitalia that has been badly burnt.
Keep looking, but
and now I will end tonight's adventure because that is the. You can come back later, gentlemen, or further adventures can come back later and dig around in this room some more, see if there's anything in there missed. But we have come to the end of our session tonight, and I will only add that when you come out of the cave, you see that the chest that you already pulled out has been opened. Someone has opened it. Trav has opened it. Glittering inside are 930 gold pieces.
I kill Trav.
Well, you don't have to, because Trav is standing nearby with his face green, curling into rigor mortis, and you see a sharp needle sticking out of the lock with just a drop of green ooze coming from it. Trav is dead, but you've earned 930 gold. And that is where we will end for tonight.
Wait, how'd he die?
There's a needle trap in the chest.
I see.
Yes, we will pan up from the horrifying locked scream of Trav, who opened the horrible trapped lock. But you have reaped the benefits. 930 gold for slaying that Minotaur. And you only had to lose
2 human lives. 4 human lives.
Four lives.
And lava bugs.
Yeah.
Oh, a few lava bugs died. Yeah.
Jared, what's the XP for a Minotaur and 6 lava beetles?
I will tell you later. No.
Hey, Jared.
All right, if
Minotaur.
people want to hang out and talk XP, let's do it.
Hey, Jared, the Minotaur, human junk or animal junk?
Animal
Great
junk.
question.
And
Okay.
Look, we don't shy
Jared.
away from testicular torture scenes on this stream. I'll tell you that much right now. I'll tell you that much for free.
I found
all
one
right.
bigger, but
Yeah. Let's see. Let me find the Minotaur since Clint has to know his XP.
I'm leveling up, baby.
This bitch gonna level up.
yeah.
So I will ask my friends who have never played Dungeons and Dragons before. And look, you're not gonna hurt our feelings. We can handle it. We're Dungeons and Dragons players, so we're super socially adept and we're really good with handling our feelings. What did you think of your first Dungeons and Dragons experience?
I liked it.
You liked it?
I'm no stranger to games. I play lots of games.
What's a game that you enjoy?
You know what? A game that I played a good deal and I have a few sets of is Dominion.
Dominion.
Sure.
That's like
Dominion.
that's as far as I go, I think. But I love board games and whatever, and this I like playing anything. I like playing all sports.
Sure.
This is another thing to play, and I laughed a lot with my friends, and I think there's a lot of value here.
Oh,
All right, that
good,
sounded faintly patronizing, but thank you. And Nick Vatterott.
No, he's serious, man. I love Monsters of Tokyo. That's my jam.
Yeah, I love that game.
But it's super. Oh, go ahead.
275 XP for the Minotaur Clinton trucks.
It's super fun. I love it. The whole time I'm always like, well, what am I? I think I was like, am I not taking advantage of the fact that I should be using my weapons and stuff, or am I not taking advantage of the fact that you can do whatever you want? That felt like a constant choice the whole time that I'm sure more experienced players are better at. But I love it.
You actually did really great at that. Both of you did. 15 times 7 XP for the fire beetles.
Oh, can I also say that
105.
to the viewer, it looks like the Frankenstein poster behind your head, because of your ring light, it looks like it's loading.
You're
Waiting
right.
for it to load the whole time.
You're right. It's not perfect. It's not. Look, I put a lot of work into this, and all right, now I'm pissed off. Get the fuck out of my fucking stream.
Fun.
You guys
thanks
were
for
amazing.
having us. It was
Get
great.
Rich Nick. Where can they find it or listen to it?
Well, we're gonna do this. This is gonna be an episode. We had Jared on, and he told us about this whole world, and kindly invited us on, and had both of us on. I know normally it was you guys only play with 3 people, so you had 4 on. But then we'll wrap this up in the next couple of weeks, sometime in the next month, right, Turner? I don't know, and we'll put this episode out.
Great. Could be Friday.
Could be Friday, yeah,
Or it could be Friday. So next couple months or Friday, be sure to watch for this episode. Thank you to Nick Turner and Nick Vatterott. Thank you,
Thank all of you
and
guys.
Will Pottorf. I'm going to say bye to my players, except for Clinton Trucks. Let's just tell them what we have coming up, my friend.
Sounds good. All right. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Bye. So I do need you, Clinton Trucks, to help me. I think I can remember mostly. Guys, this Saturday, unfortunately, we are dark for Blood and Blades. Please accept my humble apologies. We have schedule things happening. And my wife is about to give birth, so there's a lot of little schedule snafus happening. But we will be back with that show soon. And Sunday at 10 a.m.
Very
Pacific
special
time.
game coming up.
You will have a very special game of Vampires of Pittsburgh. The entire crew from the Pittsburgh setting to the Philadelphia setting that our subscribers created. It's Never Sunny in Philadelphia, 10 a.m. Our Vampire the Masquerade stream will visit the Philadelphia setting with Lucius L.E., with Curtis Krieger, and with Jen Brown. So please tune in for that, 10 a.m. And then Tuesday, the 25th of May at 7 p.m. Pacific. So next Taste of Blood, next Tuesday, I will be sitting down for a little fireside chat. Well, both of us will be sitting down for a little fireside chat with Mr. John Harper, the creator of Blades in the Dark, the entire,
and a lot of other great games,
right? Forged in the Dark games. Basically, that whole setup that is used in Blades in the Dark is used in so many other incredible games that John has created, and we are going to be talking to him about his influences. Basically, I know we have to talk about this a little bit, Clint, but I know a lot of people when they talk to like a professional like John, they'll be like, "How did you get into gaming?" But I think all of that's out there somewhere. I just want to talk to him about his favorite shows and books and movies and all the stuff that inspired Blades and gave him the ideas to create Blades.
Well, let's pick up our SOB, Craig Shipman, who has a podcast, the Tabletop Role-Playing Podcast. I forget the exact name. You were on it, Jared. Do you recall?
That's freeze? Right. Yeah.
He has what I would say is the definitive John Harper interview, if you'd like to hear about his experience as a role player. So please go check that out. It's terrific. We're going to talk to John Harper about what he likes for breakfast.
Right. Then the weekend after that, I will have a new little Logan in my house. So we may take a little pause, but look at our schedule. We're going to have some guest GMs coming up in our Taste of Blood series. And we hope you will tune in for Andrew Orvidal running some sessions of Valley Heat based on the podcast of the same name. I highly recommend you check out the podcast before you see him play the game that he designed around the podcast with the cast from that show. So be sure to check that out. And we have many other extra GMs coming. I actually have to split, but I'll just say before I go, please subscribe. That's the way to support us here. That is the way that we make money and are able to bring you more content. Please follow us on all the socials, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook. We are on all of that stuff and on Discord. That's the best way to get in touch with us and talk to us about everything we do here at the Stream of Blood. We are available and we do talk to viewers on our Discord about all the shows, suggestions, recommendations, etc. I want to thank Clinton Trucks and Brian Baldinger, my producing partners. I want to thank Megan Arch, our social media manager, Jill Petracek, our art director, and all of you viewers for being here tonight. We will see you very soon. Thank you, and happy gaming, you son of a bitch.
Goodbye forever.